So I think quite a few of us will have tried artificial intelligence art programs, and this one is a little bit special. I'm actually using this one commercially as we speak, and I've only been using it for a few weeks, but I found that I can use it quite comfortably in my daily work life. So basically what it is, it's an artificial intelligence app on your iPad, and what it will do is it will take a prompt word and it will take an art style, and then it can be influenced by your own art. So I'm throwing my art in, I'm giving it some words to play with and a style to play with, and it's giving me incredible artwork straight out of the bag in a matter of seconds. So those of you that follow me and know I like insects and animals and wildlife and creatures, the stuff that this is turning out for me is just insane, and I can definitely use it in my commercial life. So let's take a look at Wombo Dream and see if it's something that you can use in your artwork. So let's get the app first of all. So head over to the App Store, and then just before we go into it, we can just type in AI art and let's have a look. AI art, and let's take a look at what's there. So it's quite a popular subject now, so you'll find lots of different apps that will generate art from other pieces of art, and there's tons that you'll see in the NFT community. So people are generating art and then turning them into NFTs with a couple of clicks, and a lot of it is not much use to someone like me as a concept artist, and then there are one or two that come through that are quite useful and can be useful without being overly repetitive or just used as a filter, which this one clearly isn't a filter, as you're going to see. So instead of doing AI art, we'll just type I think it's easiest way is dream, and then Wombo is the word you want to make sure you put in, WOMBO, and there you've got Dream by Wombo. So let's just open it up. And as you can see, here's some that I've published, but we just want to go straight on the plus sign. Now, it's a very, very simple interface, but there's three areas that you want to take a look at. So the first thing is you can enter a prompt. So you can just type in car, and then you can pick a style. So you've got a wide range: psychedelic, Ghibli, fantasy art, HD, fantasy, Baroque, Salvador Dali, Provenance, backlight. There's 2 lines of them there, so you can take your time and go through and play with these, and it's quite easy just to do that. So pick a prompt, pick an art style, and then you can, as a third option, add your own art, but for now we won't add anything. We'll just take those 2 and we'll just generate some art. We haven't picked a style, have we? So we'll pick let me just think of something that I've not actually done. So try psychic, and then we just hit create. What that does is it takes the word, and we've said car, and it's taken the style, and now it's just taking a wide range of images and sources to generate some artwork. So that in itself is pretty cool. So you can see there's headlights, there's parts of cars, the front of a car, there's some generic backgrounds, and there's some stuff at the bottom here that we don't know. So that's a great start. Let's just generate it again. Same car, so it's car and psychic, and just create again, and it'll give you a completely different one. So this in itself can be quite fun. This can generate some really cool art, but it's really just using other people's photographs and sources that it's pulling in, and it's generating art based on that art style that you've defined. So yes, it's useful, or yes, it's fun. Do one more. We'll just change it to etching this time. We'll leave it at car, and we'll go generate. And here we go. You can get some really, some random stuff. So this is obviously it's settled on this really weird etching looking style. It's bringing another car in there at the bottom, and again can come up with some nice backgrounds. Can be useful, and you can just share it at that point. So you can just go export, and you can just say share it to wherever you want, or you can share it to the Wombo gallery. So that I found all of that quite useful already. So what I did notice was, if for example you say let's pick fantasy art car, and you can add in car blue, and then generate or create, And what it'll do is it'll factor in that second word as well. So you can see it's taken car, it's taken blue, and it's taken that style. So it's making you a piece based on that. So if you're not generating much of your own art and you just want some art pieces, this is fantastic like that as well. But that's not why we're here, is it? So most people that do what I do are already generating a lot of their own art. So what we need to do is add in our own art. So if you go select an image, and we'll go from my photo gallery, and we'll go through and we'll pick some that I've already generated. So this one is a quick painting done in Procreate. And when I say quick, I can just show you a quick time lapse now while I'm talking. And it's basically just slapping down some colours based on an image I had of a blue sky with creamy coloured clouds and white on the top. And as you can see, it's nothing special. It's literally 2 or 3 minutes worth of just slapping down some colours in Procreate. So when we've got that, we could just generate something from that. But what I decided to do was go one step further with that, and I just slapped in some shapes, some blocks. Let me show you, look at that. That's as rough as it gets. So I've just thrown in just some black in the background and some yellow for reflected light, and I've done this kind of floating ship effect. So if you unfocus your eyes, even at that stage, it's not horrible, but it's not particularly useful for what we want to do. So we go next. So we've picked that piece of art and we've put it here at the bottom in Wombo. Now it gets interesting because you've got this slider here at the bottom, and you've got minor influence up to major influence. So if we want to do minor influence, you'd get pretty much what we had before. It will use the keyword plus the art style and a little bit of possibly the shape or the colour. I haven't worked out exactly what it's using from this, but it will have a hint of what you've done there. If you go normal, that gives you default influence. Your input image has some effect on the final artwork. Or you go major, and major is the one that I've used most of the time. So it's basically taking your art, and it's then using the prompt words and the chosen art style, and then it's remanufacturing your art for you. So we've got this this floating city. So let's try some words. So we'll say city and clouds, and we'll choose an art style. We'll choose provenance. And as we know, we've gone major influence. So let me just show you what happens now. So that's generating the artwork, and it's taken my image in the background, but it's now adding in a city and an overlay of clouds as well. And as you can see, already it's popping into a very different look. And there's lots of different styles that have appeared there. So you've now got a city and the clouds. And the clouds are a little bit too rough and ready. They're not the kind of style that I wanted, so not an image that I'm going to keep. So we'll go back and we'll change the influence. So we'll change it from provenance to something like fantasy art. And let's just try and knock back to normal from strong and just see. I'll show you the difference if you knock back your own influence. And now you can see straight away it's radically different. So you're giving the artificial intelligence more reign over what you want it to create. So it's using more of its own influence, and it's pulling in more of the reference imagery that it's going and finding, and it's then compositing all that together for you. Now, what I am finding is that's incredible is it seems to get the colours right. So it seems to work on complementary colours. If you're putting blues in there, you're getting yellows at the other end of the spectrum. It's doing split basically, if you know colour theory, it's working around the colour with it. Doesn't seem to throw ridiculous colour combinations. It just seems to get it right most of the time. So we'll do it one more time. We'll try another art style. We'll try dark fantasy this time. And let's just change the word to something radical to show you what happens. And I will change it crazily in a moment. So we'll just do clouds, and we'll change it to ship. So that'll give us ship in the clouds, hopefully. And then we'll go influence. We'll leave it. In fact, no, we'll move the influence back up to strong and say create. So that's taking the same piece of artwork. And now look at what it's throwing in the foreground. So it's actually putting in a ship of some kind, or a boat or some kind of reference. So Suddenly, that's radically changed the look and feel just by adding that one word in there. And you can get really silly, so you can put, instead of cloud and ships, you can put something simple like a tractor, and then create from that. And what I found out with tractor is you can not only go, you can see a tractor being the influence there, it popped in quite strongly there, you can see the shape of a tractor in there. And you probably wouldn't put a tractor in the clouds, but what I'm trying to show you is the influence can be incredible. It can really change the look and feel. So you wouldn't always put in words that you think would be what you want. So sometimes if you're doing a city, you might want to do something like a ship or an aeroplane, just to get a different feel, and it might give you the look you want. Now, something I did find out with your prompts, you can specify more than that. So if I was to change that from tractor to JCB, which is a brand name for diggers and and large plant equipment. So we've got JCB, and we've got let's change it to another art style. Let's say JCB and Salvador Dali, and we'll use medium influence of my art, and we'll hit create. And then what you'll find, which I find is incredible, straight away we're seeing the yellows of a JCB. So it is definitely going out there and sourcing those reference prompts, and it's bringing in shapes and color. Now that clearly isn't a JCB, but it's got a lot of the language, the shape language of a JCB. So now if you go back to this one and do strong, so that's strong with your own artwork with JCB, and we'll actually make it even more strong. We'll go JCB yellow and then create. You can see that this straight away goes into the yellow. You can see more influence of JCBs. And it's not having a huge influence on the clouds now, but the thing in the middle is transforming into a digger of kinds. Now that's quite it's quite indistinct. So we gave it something that was indistinct. So what happens if we go very, very clear? So if we pick a piece of art that is very, very already defined. So what I'm going to do is we'll go and show, I've got loads in here, as you can see. I've been really heavily trying this. So I'm going to pick something that I've designed. So there's a bee. So I've been working on this for quite a few different projects, and I'm going to go heavy influence of mine. I'm actually going to tell it to use bees. So I'm going to say bee, and I'm going to go back to the one I'm liking, which is Provenance, and I'm going to say create. Now, this is heavily using your own artwork, but it's also bringing in other people's artwork that is a bee, and it's choosing the art style, or you've chosen the art style. And what I'm finding now is I get amazing art. So I love this style. So it's giving you the color influence is coming from your own art. The shape is coming from your own art. The art style is from someone else's. So it's as if you've copied that art style, but it generally gives me really, really cool looks. So I'll go back on that one. We'll try another couple of variants. We'll go create. Let's have a look at what this does. So this is obviously less like mine, more bee-like because it's using the prompt word bees, and that same art style that I chose. But look at the difference. It's it's adding in a lot more of kind of like the speckles and the blips, and it's pretty much gives me a piece of concept art that I could use every single time. And you can change the size as well. Obviously, I didn't crop that in correctly. So one of the things we do on this channel is we use programs like Nomad Sculpt a lot. So what happens if we just do a basic sculpt in Nomad and then throw that into here? Let's go in and we'll add some artwork. So on the screen now, I'll show you, this is a blocked out robot. And when I say blocked out, I mean some spheres, some cubes, and I just used trim tool, and I basically just blocked out the shape of a large Gundam robot. And again, this is about 15 20 minutes worth of work. It's nothing that if you're already using Nomad, you can do this now. And if you do need something like a lesson on blockouts, then just put it in the comments down below and I'll do you a quick video of how to do that. But let's take one of those images that we've just made. I just screenshot everything that I've done there. So we'll take one of these, so maybe one of the flying ones, something like that. We'll zoom in on it there like that, hit next. So it's just a black and white image of that Gundam. So we'll now go prompt, and we'll go robot, and we'll use steampunk, and we'll use heavy influence with my art. So let's see what that generates. Now I've been doing this for quite a few days, and the artwork that I'm getting is exceptional. It's random, it's on point but random, and it's giving me artwork that I can use in my work, and I'm quite comfortable that it is my artwork that's influenced by AI. So that to me straight away is a useful piece of art. It just looks phenomenal. Let's change the art style like we've done previous. So let's change it to Baroque, and we'll go robots, and we'll go chrome, and look at the influence that comes in now. So create, and you can see the chrome coming in. So it's going and sourcing chrome images. It's obviously sourcing robots, and it's using the shape heavily that I've defined. And you can see how random that, I mean, again, the colours and the shapes are coming in, and they're looking, that, you know, again, I can't say enough good stuff about this piece of software. It just gives me pieces of artwork every time that I'd be comfortable to use. So let's knock the influence down a bit. I have a couple more goes, so we'll go up to something like, let's try, which one haven't I tried with a robot? Let's try rose gold, and we've done robot chrome, and let's call it black, and just see what that gives us. So we'll go create, and it starts looking, and it's less influence of mine, remember. So this is giving the program more of a free reign. So it's not looking like the shape that I want, but it is giving me some really nice shapes, and there's a lot more black in it. What would happen if we knock it all the way down and let it generate? So again, you're now giving it full reign with minimal influence, so you can get really random stuff there. I noticed when you type in robots, you get this blue dot all the time, so it must have this kind of Tony Stark light from somewhere, or an eye from somewhere that it likes, and it keeps giving that. But again, remember, what we're after is something like a robot that we can use in our concept art. So we'll go back to HD, we'll do we'll call it robot, and we'll call it industrial, spelled correctly, and we'll give it full influence, as I've said, and we've picked that art style. Let's have a look at that. So it's generating, and it's kept that shape, it's kept that flying robot kind of shape, and as you can see now, it's generating some really, really nice, almost monochrome art. So let me just show you some of the sheets of stuff that I've been doing. So I'll just nip into my library from the last few days, and then we'll just start looking through some of the stuff I've been creating. So these are some cityscapes that I've been doing, some skyscapes using that artwork that I showed you. So that's from the cloud one that we started with, and then a paint over. And you can see the different iterations that I went through there. There's a JCB test, and I like that one. I kept that one. The B one, depending on the influence, came out so well. So this is with less influence, and as you can see, that's created some amazing variants for me, and I can use that. I'm actually using that in a commercial job as we speak. There's a set of variants of the bees, and again, my artwork, but then heavily influenced by the words that I'm choosing. So I think in one of these at the bottom, I used the word bumblebee, and it is a bumblebee, but actually what it did was it pulled in some reference from Bumblebee the robot, and you can see that in some of these, I think. I think this one was wasp actually. So you can see that it looks more like a wasp than something like this, which is the prompt was, oh no, that was wasp again. But you can see how the influence is changing as you change the parameters. So here's more of the robots. This is exactly what I've just shown you. It's just me testing all the different robots, words for robots. So in this one here, I typed the word gun, and you can see that it's put a Tommy gun at the front. And then here, this is a model that I made of a robot wasp on its side. So it's not a robot wasp, it's more of a spaceship. But you can see if you turn your head and you see these images, these are like spaceships on their sides. But because I kept it vertical, you can see it's tried to layer it down. I think that was, what was the prompt there? Spaceship. So it's actually pulled in the spaceship look, but vertical. And then when I turned the image side on, I used that in one of the images I showed you earlier on. I found this one looked like it gave me a character straight away. I think it looks like a girl in a spacesuit. So again, the influence is just incredible. It can just go far and wide. So as you can see, the influence, it can be incredible. It can really affect what you're making here, and it can give you incredible pieces of artwork if you take your time with it and use it in the right way. What I do like about it is it's using my artwork. So I'm not a fan of using other people's artwork and just starting with nothing of your own. Everything you're seeing here is something I've created and then changed. So I like mashups, and I like being able to change what I'm doing. What I don't like, and I don't recommend you do, is just start with other people's artwork. It just feels like a bit of it doesn't feel quite what we'd want to be doing, really. It doesn't feel as something that I would recommend that you do. So, but yeah, this is something that you should really take the time to have a look at. Throw your own artwork in there, see what you can get out of it. I'll show you some of my painted finished ones. So this is an overpaint of the first one we started, the cloud one. And as you can see, I've put one of the other images there in the foreground and made it a lot more saturated. And that's given me a really, really nice piece of artwork just to start with. Again, these are concept pieces. They're not finished pieces in any way, but these are ones that if you get it right in shape and colour, it's something you can work on and work with later on. But it's getting all of these early ideas. It's just another way to generate these really cool early ideas. I thought this one was nice, which is, it's not useful for the kind of stuff I do, but I thought it looked really cool. And the ones that I've already shown you these, but these are just so full of detail. They're so rich in the detail. And one thing I would be careful of, as I've already said, is try and keep the influence to your own artwork, because it will get quite samey. Once people really get into this app and AI in general, you will find a lot of samey art coming out. So try and keep the influence high on your own artwork, and pick some random styles so that you don't go with what everybody else is doing. If you're starting to see people do this, just get into finding and using your own artwork in a way that makes new and original art. And then if you are an NFT fan and you're minting your own stuff, then you can feel confident that you are minting your own original product, which is something that you can be proud of then, rather than just feel like you're doing it for the sake of selling NFTs. So yeah, Wombo Dream, one of my favorite ones in the AI art category at the moment. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up, because it does help us to get in front of other people who may like this kind of content. And if you like the content, then please subscribe. It does help us to build the channel bigger every week. And if you like it enough to subscribe, then hit the notification bell and we'll let you know when we upload new content. Have a great week, everyone.